Hey guys, today I'm playing a game of Empire Total War. I am in command of the Prussians. My opponent, who will spawn shortly, is the British. My army consists of 4 units of cavalry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 units of line infantry, 2 grenadier units, and 4 skirmisher units. Now, once the match begins, I had a really bad start. It got kind of chaotic with my whole pathfinding issue I had in the beginning, but I managed to pull it together. Just waiting for my opponent to spawn, which he has. My opponent had a different approach to his army makeup. He spawned some rocket troops, which will be firing on my guys shortly, not to worry. There they go. Bombard my units. We'll watch that later. It happened several hundred times. Like I said, my opponent had different makeup of his army. He has like at least 6 cavalry units, mostly a general's bodyguard, with this general only being one of them. Actually, there's his general, I believe, right there. But strange choice. General's bodyguard I usually don't see in a main cavalry role, but who knows. My opponent has about 6 units of line infantry. He has a Black Watch unit. That's an elite unit right here. Their kilts on. And he didn't really bring any skirmishers, which is maybe his downfall, because my guys can outrange him. And he also has this, looks like a 24-pounder. There are the rockets you see, firing upon my people. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I had some pathfinding issues. Apparently, low log cabins can really fuck you up, but I managed to work through it. My initial plan was to put my skirmishers in front of my line infantry and have them come to me. Pretty basic, but that's not what ended up happening. Alright, so you can see over here, my opponent has massed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different cavalry units. So I brought some of my cavalry over to try to fend them off. And once again, more rockets. But anyway. So I moved my skirmishers up on the left flank over here, getting ready to meet his infantry, which I moved them I realized I moved them way too far up, so I decided to run away. Meanwhile, they're getting shot in the back, but that's okay. Only a few inside, and by few I mean over half. But you know, that's war. And now the routing, which was a strategic blunder. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so here I saw cavalry charge, and here I thought he was coming straight for my line infantry, so I formed them into a square, but he goes right around them and heads for my cavalry, which I then need a counter charge. And this cavalry conflict over here will be a major decisive moment of the battle. But anyway, along the rest of the line, I'm in skirmish mode. Line infantry with the rockets still firing down upon me. I did manage to rout a unit of his, let's see, his riflemen, line infantry of some kind. Can't really see lettering, too small. But I see that he's amassing forces on my right, so I move more line infantry over. And meanwhile, I had these grenadiers throwing their grenades over and at these lifeguard unit, or not lifeguard, Black Watch, the very elite line infantry. And I also had these guys doing the same thing. Yep, good job. Okay. I couldn't send cavalry charge in because my opponent had put down spikes right here. But I managed. Yep, there to see they throw their grenades. The grenades are working extremely well this time period. Why? No. But they really devastate the enemy line. And there you see his elite Black Watch unit routing. But he did manage to rout my grenadier. So meanwhile, on the far right flank, I put some cavalry to basically harass him, try to keep his units moving around so he couldn't settle in one spot. I decided to bring these far behind his troops to try to take out his rocket artillery that has still been firing away at me over here. Alright, meanwhile, over here, I'm still fighting his cavalry. Luckily, due to the terrain and the map, he wasn't able to charge all his cavalry at mine at once, so it came in piecemeal, which had him lose his number advantage. I did see that he was bringing this general bodyguard unit towards my line for a charge, but luckily my guys got enough shots off where they aren't totally effective, and it also helps that they are very tired. I have these two units of line infantry in the back as a reserve force for when I thought my units would be routing over here, but they turned out to be tougher than I thought. Meanwhile, this grenadier unit is... well, actually, I really don't know what they're doing. Looks like they're forming back into a line. Not the best micromanager, but I managed to survive. Alright, on this flank over the cavalry engagement, he did manage to rout one of my cavalry units, and it only had 7 horses left, so I mean, they basically fought to the end. But this other one still has 29, and luckily he was able to hold off or diminish his cavalry to a point where they become pretty much ineffective. I also bring over some skirmishers and some line infantry to help support my cavalry that's currently engaged over on my left flank. Now, surprisingly, the center of the battlefield has not been overly active. I mean, our troops have been trading fire between each other, but due to this forest, it's made it difficult for anyone's fire to be truly effective. You see a few dead guys over here, but basically everyone's just hitting trees. Oh, meanwhile, in the back over here, I was able to get my cavalry around and finally take out these rockets, which were a pain in the ass. Now with my long line of skirmishers, I am engaging my enemy from a distance, and I'm bringing up my 2 reserves of line infantry to fill in the gaps. Now, these grenadiers, they kind of got stranded kind of out in the middle of my enemy's formation, so I decided to use them before they got destroyed by this large group of line infantry. and I charged the back of his other unit of Black Watch troops, which are currently firing at my other line. The grenades just demolish his unit, so much so that he decides to turn around to fire on my grenadiers, which will basically be the end of them, but they did their job. So they are able to throw another round of grenades out, which once again just destroys his line. See all the dead guys around. Well, they've done their job, and I was able to fill in the gaps on my line on the right flank. But over here on the left, I had some few more difficulties. I mean, basically what happened over here is that we annihilated each other. All our cavalry is gone at this point. I mean, just a pile of dead horses and people, as you can see here. Alright, now I'm bringing up what's left of my line infantry and skirmishers, which is highly depleted on my left flank, to engage his I really don't know how to pronounce that one, but his rangers, which are basically the English skirmishers. And then he has his final unit of General's bodyguard in the back, right behind them. But what ended up happening is he started to roll up my left flank, and I started to roll up his right flank, which will, as you'll see, kind of turns the battle basically turns it 90 degrees. But meanwhile, in the middle here, where I'm still trading fire with his line infantry to his line infantry. Now that I've moved out of the forest, his fire is becoming more effective, but mine is as well, so it's a give and take. Now here on the left, I'm making a pretty big push with my line infantry, trying to wrap up his flank so I can fire on his line from the side from two directions. And here I send my line infantry in for a charge, which I basically catch his guys off guard, but they're able to rally back, unfortunately. Yeah, that guy got it. Ooh, that guy just got bayoneted as well. This guy's just chopping people down. Alright, well, anyway, I bring another line infantry unit in to just, I wanted to quickly get rid of these guys, and they will soon, right? Yep, they're routing now. And now I'm able to fold up on his flank. But unfortunately, at the same time, my opponent is able to roll up on my flank, but with his rangers and more rangers. At this point, I'm out of grenadiers, unfortunately, or I'd have them throwing more grenades at my opponent, because they have been extremely effective. This game, like this entire mob of dead people, by the grenadiers. Underestimated unit, in my opinion. Right, meanwhile, over on the left flank, he's starting to wrap up my left flank. I have to start putting troops, looking at them so I can get some fire upon them. Which this becomes a problem, but as well, I'm doing the exact same thing on his left flank, so it's evening out. We still both have our generals at this point, so our troops really aren't suffering from any type of morale withdrawal. But now, if you look at the mini map, we've turned 90 degrees, and we are now each facing each other again. Guys are preparing a fire, I hope. I think so. Over here, I decided to wing it, and I sent my general in, thinking I would be able to get rid of these skirmishers, but fortunately I failed, and he ends up killing my general. Heroic death. VonKaiser, which I guess I died. I don't know. I think that's me. He's dead down there somewhere. Anyway, so he starts to fall back because he has 2 units of rangers and I have 2 as well, but mine are more depleted than his. So he thought he'd get the range advantage on me, but I would have none of this, and eventually I will be advancing here. Skirmishers are trading fire with the other opponent's skirmishers, which was, on his move, maybe not the best idea to retreat, because it gave my guys an opportunity to shoot back. And here you see I start my large broad advance. He also had a unit of line infantry come back from routing, but luckily I had this group of skirmishers already sitting here waiting for them, and they're just going to slowly pick them off. And they will be routing again shortly. Okay, due to the fact that I had more line infantry, I was able to kind of encircle my opponent, not completely, but enough to a point where I could fire on more angles at him than he could fire on me. Guys are reloading. Good old 18th century weaponry. My opponent had to move his general's bodyguard back, so I was actually targeting him. And if he lost his general at that moment, it would have been a lot. He would have been a lot worse off than he already was. My opponent goes for the downhill charge, which was actually probably a pretty good idea on his part. I was not expecting it. I formed my guys in a square, thinking it would help out the situation a bit, but it didn't. He also charges with his rangers over here, but I lead a counter charge, and skirmishers against line infantry. There's really no competition. They're going to rout pretty fast. Skirmishers really don't have any type of good melee ability. That guy just got his heart ripped out. It's the last charge for my opponent. He charges again with another group of skirmishers. With the same result. And yeah, but over here, with the line infantry against line infantry, he's having an easier time. He also has the uphill advantage slightly, so it's not helping my guys out at all. So this battle's basically over, just doing some mop-up. I think basically everything for him's routing. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of line infantry and a skirmisher unit. But good game to my opponent. And if you guys enjoyed this video, just like it, leave a comment, and so if I'm wasting my time or not. But thanks guys.